The night of March 13th, 1997, would forever be remembered as one of the most dramatic UFO events in modern history. Across Arizona, thousands of people witnessed something extraordinary in the skies. From the quiet town of Prescott all the way down to Phoenix, reports describe a massive V-shaped formation of glowing lights that seemed to stretch for miles. It moved silently, effortlessly, blotting out stars as it passed overhead. This wasn't just one or two people seeing strange lights in the distance. Entire neighborhoods poured into the streets. Parents pulled their children outside. Police officers stopped to stare. Pilots flying overhead radioed in confusion. The craft was larger than any known plane, larger than a blimp, and it moved far too smoothly to be a group of aircraft. For many, the moment was filled with awe, but for others, it was a chilling fear, as if something from beyond had finally arrived in full view of the public. And yet, no sound, no engines, no roar, just a colossal structure drifting silently across the night sky. What set the Phoenix lights apart from what other sightings wasn't just the number of witnesses, it was the consistency of their accounts. Families, police, and even respected professionals all described an enormous solid object. Witnesses spoke of something so large it dwarfed the horizon, a craft the size of several football fields. Its lights weren't scattered like random aircraft, but arranged in a perfect V, moving in unison. People remember seeing stars vanish as the object passed overhead, as if they were staring at the dark underside of a massive ship. Some claimed it hovered, pausing as though it is scanning the desert below. Others described the feeling of being watched. It wasn't chaotic. It wasn't random. It was deliberate. Even skeptics struggled to explain away so many aligned testimonies. In that moment, thousands of ordinary people all looked up and came to the same conclusion. They were seeing something not of this world. The air was filled with gasps, shouts, and stunned silence. Everyone knew they had witnessed something they could never forget. Local news stations and emergency lines were overwhelmed. Phone calls poured into 911 dispatchers from frantic citizens reporting a massive craft drifting across the state. Television stations were flooded with eyewitness accounts. Some callers whispered into the phone, terrified. Others shouted with excitement, begging someone in authority to explain what was happening. The object, according to reports, seemed to move slowly southward, its lights glowing steadily as if fixed to a solid structure. Many swore it wasn't simply passing through. It was deliberately flying low, almost showing itself off to the public. A few camcorders managed to capture the lights, but the shaky 1997 footage hardly did justice to the spectacle described. For those under the formation, the experience felt surreal. Families huddled together, staring upward in disbelief. Was this a military experiment, an enormous top-secret aircraft, or was it something far stranger, something humanity was not prepared to understand? That night, theories spread as quickly as the fear, but no answers came. The silence of officials only made the mystery grow. When explanations finally came, they only deepened the controversy. Officials insisted the lights were simply military flares dropped during an exercise at a nearby range. But witnesses immediately pushed back. They hadn't seen flares drifting downward. They had seen a solid structured craft gliding smoothly across the sky. Flares flicker, scatter, and fade. This object held its shape, its symmetry, and its quiet movement across hundreds of miles. The story felt like an insult to those who knew what they saw. Even the governor of Arizona at the time, Fife Symington, publicly ridiculed the event, calling a press conference where he staged a joke alien appearance. Yet years later, after leaving office, Symington admitted that he himself had seen the massive craft. He described it as otherworldly and acknowledged that people of Arizona hadn't been mistaken. For many witnesses, this confirmed what they already knew. The truth was being buried and their experiences dismissed. Nearly 3 decades later, the Phoenix Lights remain one of the most credible and widely reported UFO events in history. With thousands of witnesses, multiple cities involved, and recordings, however shaky, that back up their claims, the event stands as a cornerstone in UFO research. To this day, no clear explanation has been provided that matches the testimony of those who stood beneath that massive silent object. Some believe it was a classified military craft. Others are certain it was not of this earth. But regardless of the theories, the fact remains. On March 13, 1997, something unexplainable appeared over Arizona, witnessed by ordinary people whose lives were forever changed. For them, it wasn't a question of belief. It was something they lived through, and every time the subject resurfaces, the Phoenix Lights remind us of one undeniable truth. Sometimes the sky reveals mysteries far greater than we can explain. This is Joshua Tree Encounters, where UFOs, cryptids, and high strangeness collide.